How much can we increase the efficiency of our simulation models when working with shell elements? In previous video, we were checking how powerful the use of shell elements is to optimize our simulation models. However, we saw that one little mistake in the shell elements definition gave us wrong results which didn't make any sense. Then we applied the correct methodology to validate the simulation model and the results. Today, I want to go a step further with you and show you one technique to increase even more the efficiency of your simulation models. To study all the benefits of shell elements, we were working with this track chassis under one of the extreme load cases that we normally use to calculate the global stiffness of a chassis. In addition, today I want also show you the other important load case to validate the stiffness of this track chassis, which is the bending moment failure mode. Therefore, with these two critical load cases, we will see when it's beneficial to apply the simplification technique that I am going to show you here and when it's not recommended since the results will be completely wrong. Okay, subscribe if you haven't yet and let's get into it. Hi, Carlos here, and for those of you who don't know me yet, I've been more than 12 years validating real engineering FEA projects across different industries. So I created my validation method to train FEA the way industry actually demands. You will find all the details in the description below. Now let's continue reviewing concepts of that methodology. Okay, before we move to the simulation, let me show you this little reflection about the global stiffness of a track chassis. Basically, when designing a track chassis, we need to analyze the capacity that the chassis is going to withstand under different load conditions. In previous video, we were working with one of the most critical load cases for that purpose, which is the torsional stiffness. This load case is based on an extreme event when the track is passing through a pothole or it's suffering any kind of non-equilibrated inputs from the wheels. To guarantee a good performance, we need to check that the chassis is transferring the load properly from one side to the other without showing any failures. Good. The other critical load case is the bending moment. This load case is acting in the longitudinal direction of the track, and it's the other crucial load case that we need to check when analyzing track chassis to guarantee the good performance of this key component. Therefore, without further ado, let's move to the simulation software and prepare this analysis. Okay, here we are. As we were saying before, here we have the load case we were using to analyze the torsional stiffness of the vehicle. We were restricting the rear suspension brackets and applying the loads in the front suspension brackets. Doing so, we could understand how the different components of our chassis are contributing to the global stiffness and take notes to improve the design in the future development process. Okay, now let's prepare the other crucial load case, the bending moment event. I'm moving to that study. Okay, here we are. Basically here we are going to keep the same restrictions in the rear suspension brackets and apply one vertical load case in the front suspension brackets. Here what we are supposing is that the track is passing through a bump with both wheels at the same time. As you can imagine, we have different input scenarios when checking the global stiffness of a chassis and the bending moment. Here we are going to be focused on the simplification technique that I wanted to show you. So we are going to use this only configuration for the bending moment load case. I already ran it, so let me show you the result. Okay, here we can see the main deformation mode of this chassis. Let's animate it. Well, basically, we are applying a big load in the front brackets and the chassis needs to be able to transfer that load to the rest of the components. Okay, from this point of view, this is not a bad behavior, right? I will exit from here. If we check the maximum stress value, okay, it's located in the rear suspension brackets and it's showing us a value of 250.8 megapascals. It makes sense, since here we have now like a more clear cantilever structure. We have the fixation in the rear and the inputs in the front following the same vertical direction. Okay, so let's compare both load cases very quick. Okay, here we have them. We have the same restrictions, but different loads. As I mentioned before, to review these two deformation modes, we will have always more variant of loads, since these two are quite basic. The good point is that these basic load cases are serving us to show you how to work properly with shell elements. So I will exit from here and let's continue. If you remember, in the first video of this series of shell elements, we review how we are speeding up the running time and reducing the computational cost by the use of shell elements. Now we are going to move one step further and check when we can use the symmetric constraints in simulation. Let's see when it's working and when no. Let me show you the model that I have prepared. I'm moving to the configuration manager. As I always mention, working with the configuration manager is very powerful since you will have here all the possible configurations you want to simulate. I already created this one, so I will activate it. Okay, basically what I did is to cut the chassis in the middle. So we will see if the symmetry constraints that the FEA software offers us are working for this particular case. Okay, let's create this study. I will copy the current one. I will call it bending shell symmetry, and I will use my configuration for symmetry. Click OK to accept and create the simulation environment for this study. Okay, now we have here some errors. Let's fix them. Okay, and the force. Okay, okay. Okay, now what we need to do is to add the symmetry constraint to this new model. So I go to fixtures, right click and select advanced fixtures. And here I will select symmetry. In the selection field, I'm going to select the edges where I cut the chassis, starting with the first one. Here it's a tip to do the selection faster. Instead of clicking one by one edge, what we can do is just to right click and select tangency, so all the edges are selected. Cool, right? And as you can see, the software already detected the other half of the chassis. So now we just need to keep selecting our edges. Here, okay, now that we have all the edges selected, we can accept and let's continue. Now let's prepare the mesh. Go to mesh, right click and select create mesh. We are going to use the same parameters just to be consistent, and I will accept to create it. Okay, here we have our mesh. Now we can run this study. Okay, here we have them. Well, if when we move to the shell element, the simulation ran very fast, now it's flying. Okay, what we can see from this point of view is not bad, right? If you think in this half of the chassis as an independent component, I mean without the symmetry constraint, as the longitudinal members are not aligned in the longitudinal direction, we should see a local torsional effect, right? But we are not seeing that. So that means that this simulation is not bad. I guess that you know where is the maximum stress value, right? Let me show you. Okay, exactly. Here it is, in the rear bracket connection. And the value is quite similar to the previous value that we obtained. But now the key question is how to be sure that our chassis is moving correctly under this simplification. One of the advanced options when working with symmetry is to be able to show up the another half of the component. Let's take a look. If I go to a stress plot, right click and edit definition, here I drop down and we have the option of display symmetry results. Okay, so once we activate it, we can see that the software is showing us the symmetric plot. But just keep in mind that this is only for visualization. If, for example, we activate the mesh underneath our model, we can see that this is just showing us the mesh in the half of the chassis that we are working with and not in the another half, since it's just for visualization. Okay, let's compare the models. Okay, here we have them. I also added the displacement. So in the top, we have the two displacements, and in the bottom, we have the stress plot. So basically on the left, we have the complete chassis model, and on the right, we have the simplification that we use here. What we can see? Well, we can see that for this load case of bending moment, the symmetry technique is working very good, right? We can see how the stress value and the displacements are matching perfectly. So here we have another way to be more efficient during our simulation analysis. Just one thing to keep in mind. When we are working with this tool, we need to be very careful since, as the name is saying, this tool is a symmetric technique, not only for the CAD, but also for the simulation definition. Here, for the bending moment scenario, we have two loads in the vertical suspension brackets, one in each side, with the same magnitude and the same direction. And in the rear also, the restrictions were symmetric. Therefore, this symmetry technique is working for this particular case very well. But what do you think that is going to happen when we apply this symmetry to the torsional stiffness load case? Is it going to work as well in that case of torsion? Let me know in the comments what do you think, and we will find out in next video. The philosophy here is to bring you the content to help you think with the correct engineering mindset. And if you want to make the difference and learn how to actually apply all of this in real engineering projects using my validation method, you can find all the details in the description below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. See you in next simulation.